thanks a lot for joining in, and I'm sure everyone is eager to listen to you, your experience, and how you feel AI is going to transform the entire landscape.
Sure, happy to. I like doing this because somebody has to dumb it down to if it's a fresher or a startup founder. He's too busy doing his stuff. Somebody has to help him see the macro picture on things, right? So I'm happy to do
Absolutely,
this.
absolutely.
And typically the audience are all like what startup founders or entrepreneurs. Who are they?
So we have a very large audience here, wherein a lot of startup founders would be joining in. A lot of faculty members who would want to take in the startup and entrepreneurial plunge would might join in, and students who are looking to start off with new ventures in the AI space or would want to understand how AI can actually play a transformative role in their careers and in the startups that they intend to start off with. So all of them are looking forward to have their guidance from you.
Got it. Got it. So I'm hoping the Q and A as well, right? It's not just Gyan.
I'm sorry?
Yes, sir. It's a Q&A. So how we are keeping this format is for first 40-45 minutes we'll keep for the content and then followed by Q&A. May not be able to share the mic, but we'll ask audience to put it in the chat box and then we can take up one by one. Or maybe you can directly take up from the chat box.
No, yeah, I'm fine either ways. If you want to moderate it from whatever the chat thing, that's also
Yeah.
fine.
So
Those
yeah.
people will generally be shy, right? It's okay.
So this session will be moderated by Mrunal as a MC and co-moderated by me only.
Got it.
And we'll wait for the 2-3 minutes more.
Ah,
Then we can start. Meanwhile, people can join.
sure, sure. And we're not in the
Okay.
main stage, anyways, right?
Yeah.
Are we in the main stage? We're not in the main stage, right?
In a main stage, yes.
I do have slides, so if
You don't have slides?
I have slides,
You have slides? Okay.
good amount of slides. So just give the control to me whenever you can.
Kiran sir, I think we should start the session. Meanwhile, people can keep on joining. with the time, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, Mrinal, over to you for a brief introduction, and then sir, you can start. Thank you.
Okay. Hello and welcome everyone to our first session of the Playbook series. Today we have joined by Mr. Kiran Babu. Mr. Kiran Babu is the co-founder and CEO of Rava.ai, a serial entrepreneur and a seasoned product leader with over 22 years of experience. He has led global teams at Google and Dell across the US, Philippines, and India, and is known for his strong customer focus and passion for innovation. Mr. Kiran also actively contributes to the startup ecosystem as an advisor and as mentor emerging startups incubated at ISB, IIT Mandi, T-Hub, and AIC Bemtech. With a track record of driving complex and global initiatives, he thrives in fast-paced environment and excel at turning ideas into impact. So, on behalf of MIT Technology Innovation Incubator, we welcome you, sir, for our today's session that is Startup Business Model Redefined, Thriving in the AI Era. Over to you.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks, Manal. Thanks, team. And welcome to all the attendees. So let me quickly present a few slides. Okay. I guess you'll see my screen.
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so what I'll do is I don't want to make it like a Gyan kind of a session, but I will ensure that at least the picture is covered at a macro level on what is happening, and also at a micro level, at the startup level, at individual level, what will happen and what can happen. What I'll do is I'll take the first 45 minutes to present the slides and give you. So basically, I'll give you some frameworks to look at the whole scenario so that it gives you a very good understanding of what's happening. And then I would love to have a Q&A because that's where you can get more personalized. Whatever you want to see, whatever you want to understand, whatever you want to learn, we can take it to know in the Q&A part. Okay, so first of all, I mean, I'll make it a case study kind of a thing. So I'll give you a couple of real world use cases. So it is way more practical and way more interesting for you guys to really understand how the whole landscape is changing, how the business models will change and are evolving because of the AI coming into picture. So the first thing that I want to say is, see, throughout history, new technologies do come, they do disrupt, but don't think that it's like it's not killing things, it's shifting things. If you start looking at it from that perspective, you will use AI as a tool, as an enabler, than as a victim. So mostly what's happening is, hey, AI is killing the jobs, AI is taking over a lot of stuff. That's all at a foundational level. It's not. It doesn't make much sense. But okay, at a theoretical level, it is okay. But the landscape is shifting, but it's not getting killed. So now we as startup founders, it's an amazing opportunity for us to how to really understand what is happening and how can we reconfigure, relook, reconvene in terms of the value that we create to the customer. So the first thing is it's a shift. It's not a kill. It's not getting killed. It's just the value is getting shifted. And I will show you through examples when I'm talking to you guys. So the first part that I want you to keep in mind. Second thing, see, we are startup founders. Whenever something new comes, we directly jump to, okay, now that the AI is there, now that Gen AI is there, now that APIs are there, now that GPT is there, how do we create a new feature to our existing customer, or how do I add a new module into our existing product? If you're an old company, if you're a startup, how do I just wrap some of the features from what has been available and then launch it? Is not a great idea. And it doesn't matter if it is AI, if it is anything, but fundamentally it has to, you really have to go step by step. It's very important to understand the capability, it's very important to understand the tool, but what is more important is like how does it fit. Ultimately, we are startup founders. We are here to solve a problem. There's a problem that is there in the market, and there's a certain set of customers who are facing that problem, and our product acts as a solution to solve that problem to a set of people. So don't just jump into incorporating features. Do a bit more market research in terms of how is the customer behavior changing, if the customer behavior is changing because of this new AI era that's coming. How is the landscape, competitive landscape changing? So you also have to think about the market. It's not, you're not working in isolation with your customer, right? Your customer is being bombarded with product offerings from your competition as well. And your competition can be a small guy, big guy, medium sized guy. So everybody has access to AI now. So when everybody has access to AI, how would you propose your solution to a customer, and how will you ensure that the customer chooses your product? The whole game of your business modeling, the whole game of your strategizing is all dependent on how well you're marketing, how well you're market researching, how well you're thinking of how are you going to the market, and how well are you validating the things. I hope this point is clear because it's important. Don't just rush. Just take a step back and trying to understand the first understand the landscape and then see where it goes. Third important piece, see, for early stage startups, is like building can, it will also be a convenient distraction. So don't get distracted because now you got a new tool or a new capability. So don't overbuild because you can overbuild. Ultimately, you need to figure out how does it fit into the market. If there's a market, if it fits the market, how does it fit to the market, and how are you positioning yourself, and what kind of a product are you building? So now, typically, what's happening with the market is like now because the capability is there, we are overwhelming the product roadmap because it's easy to build. Now there's a coding copilot, there's a marketing copilot, there's so many copilots, right? So anyway, now as B2B, now as we as business people, we can compress a lot of stuff for our users. But we also have to think that will it fit into the market? Is there a market for it? Can you validate the market? So don't be these three. I like this. I like this picture for everyone. These three guys are the last three people who are standing in that company because they built a product. Now they're trying to see how they can fit it. So don't get into that situation. So again, it again comes back to take a step back, try to understand what is the value that you're creating to the customer, and how can AI help in terms of getting your business model done. Uh, this has become way more important now. So ultimately, it all comes back to return on investment, ROI. Now it's very important for you to show the ROI that you are generating for your end customer. So before in the SaaS, in the world before AI, people were focusing more on outputs instead of outcomes. When I say output, okay, I generating these many posts. If it's in the marketing world, generating these many posts, giving these many blogs. Those are outputs. Outcomes are what did your output generate. So now in the AI world, what's happening is the low hanging fruits are all taken care. So you don't have to be the first person to create another feature using AI to get the low hanging fruits. If you don't have an answer to what is your ROI, what are you really trying to show to the customer as a value created, and if it is not quantifiable, it becomes extremely difficult for you to create a business out of or whatever manifestations that you're trying to do. So ROI is the name of the game. Anyway, you go at every level, even if it's an enterprise, if it's a mid-sized company, if it's a startup, everybody is focused. Like now that we have this AI, market is moving. So how do we instead of focusing on features, what kind of an ROI can we generate? What kind of an ROI can we show to the end customer? People are getting into that mode. The ROI is very important. So please keep in mind, work very hard, go more deeper in trying to capitalize on what is that ROI that you're gonna generate, and then give it, and then show it in a provable way to your end customer. Then it becomes much easier for you to sustain the AI era. A last piece before I go to the example part of it, but these are some framework that I wanted to give you guys. So now few startups, what they're doing is that, hey, there's this AI that has come, let's create as much value as possible, and suddenly we can jack up the prices. Ultimately, your business model is all dependent on how are you pricing it. Your price decides what you offer. At the end of the day, your whole company can be summarized to the price and what is the customer getting for that price. Your whole business is that at the end of the day. So you cannot jack up once. You have to incrementally start understanding the value that you're creating, and incrementally your pricing has to evolve. So if gone are those days where we can say that, hey, per seat, if it is a SaaS based company, we say, hey, per seat I'm going to charge $10, or at $200, we're going to get you the whole thing. It doesn't work, because what's happening is day by day, I'm sure you're observing, right? Chat GPTs and all these things are reducing the price to near zero. Everything is becoming free. If Chat GPT is able to do everything, then why would any customer pay to you instead of going to GPT? So your first question that disrupts your whole business model is, what am I doing that Chat GPT cannot do for my customer? So your competition slowly, one way or the other, becomes like, when I say Chat GPT, it can be Claude, it can be Perplexity. Your customers are evolving. Your customers are also getting exposed to GPTs and AI. It's no more AI was before AI was in the company. We were doing the prediction models. We were trying to understand what the consumer behavior is and give the best recommendation to a customer. But in the new era, in the new world, your customer is also well equipped with AI. He also knows that, hey, at the end of the day, GPT is doing a lot of work, then why should I pay? So it's very important to incrementally improve, incrementally charge, or don't charge, but incrementally produce value, and then figure out a innovative model. I'll talk about few of the models, of course, for sure. But please keep that in mind. Incrementally improve the stuff, and incrementally start showing the value, incrementally start pricing it. So these are some set of initial set of context that I really wanted to set before we go to actual examples. And when I'm showing you guys this, I'm going to give two thought experiments. One, we will take Amazon as an example. Second, we'll take BookMyShow as an MakeMyTrick.com as an example. And if you really understand, so if this is a case study, if you really understand it in a right structure, things will fall in place for you in terms of for your startups. How does the business model change? What does the product roadmap change and all? So again, these are all well understood, and they're all publicly available information. It's nothing like I'm giving anything secrets. So Amazon in the near future. So today, what is Amazon? If you think about, so let's assume that now we're all startup founders of Amazon, or we're product managers of Amazon. Now the AI has come into picture, right? So today, what is the experience of what does Amazon give to the customer? So you, as a customer goes, he searches for something, and he finds the item. But I hope you all know, if you don't, this is Amazon doesn't make that much money on the item that you're purchasing, because as it is too much of discounted, as it is there's so much. 14,000, he's giving it for 6,999. Again, he's giving a deal. Again, he is making free shipping and all. So he's not making money from the order that you came to place. He's making money on the recommendations that come at the bottom. If you think about it, right? So, okay, I came to purchase this, but I also purchased this. So that's like 5,000 rupees more. So what's happening here is AI, before, as I said, right, before Gen AI was used by the company. So Amazon is using AI to understand my behavior and try to recommend the relevant things that I may need. So when I came to buy a 7,000 rupees headphone, instead I purchased 12,000 rupees worth of value. So what AI did is it really predicted, it gave a good model, good prediction model to say, hey, these are all the things. If Kiran comes and Kiran searches for this, he may buy this. See, there is a connection between a headphone and a mouse. There's a connection between a headphone and a bag, headphone cover and all, right? But that is the AI smartness before Gen AI. So it's all before Gen AI world, right? So maybe they must have looked at my previous history. They must have looked at my search patterns. Or they must have got some information about me, and then they must have decided that, hey, if I give you a magic mouse, would you not buy? So it's all AI was all what AI was doing is predictions, and it was all working out well. So now what happened? So I came, I searched, I found. Now I'm searching, I'm paying, so I'm paying my amount, and it delivers. So let's say I'm browsing, I'm paying, and then it comes to my door. So far, this was the world that is working. That was there, right? Until now, that's what we are seeing. Now I'll tell you the AI. So imagine there is a meter in Amazon head office where there is the prediction engine. Basically, right now, then Kiran is thinking of buying a mouse, so I gave a mouse. Is okay, but still, I might need other products that they could not predict. So let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, they are at 3 as a prediction score. That means they are able to predict 3 times For every 10 times I come, 3 times they're predicting the right thing. Now with in the new AI world, what is happening is, and this is, by the way, this is all, whatever I'm saying is all published. They're filing a patent also for this. So in the near future, because the AI has come, now Gen AI is doing these many things, right? So pretty soon, what's going to happen is a guy comes to your house. Imagine a world where in your there's a guy who comes to your apartment. He rings a bell and he puts a box. He says, "Hey, sir, we think you may need, there are 15 items in this box. We think you may need these 15 items. So what we will do, we will give this box to you. You pick whatever you think you need. Rest of the things, because our prediction model has told that this is the 15 things that you may need. Now, keep it with you. 10 evening, 4 o'clock, my guy comes. You just take whatever you want out of those 15 items and put the remaining things in the box and put it in front of your door. So my guys will come and pick up the remaining stuff. So if Zepto can deliver stuff in 7 minutes, Zepto can also pick up stuff in 7 minutes. So then Amazon also can pick up in 7 minutes, right? So let's say I out of those 15, because the prediction score was not great, I only chose 5 items. So I only want 5 items. But now what is happening is, because, okay, anyways, I pick my 5 items and I'm staring at the other 10 items. Now, okay, anyways, I need that soap. Okay, I need that shampoo. Okay, I need that the garbage bags. So let me just take the garbage bag now, so that I don't have to go out to buy on the weekend. So that 5 becomes 8 or 9. So everything is good. 5 became 8 or 9, and then I gave the rest of the stuff. The guy picked up at 4 o'clock and he checked out. Basically, what happens after that? Your account gets debited, or you get a GPay link and you pay it. So, but in all these things, what has happened? In this experience, instead of 5, I bought 8, but the other 3 items I was supposed to go to a kirana shop or to a supermarket over the weekend to get it. Now, because Amazon has given it to me in my doorstep, I took it. So in this whole thing, in this whole experience, where is Amazon.com? So I bought 8 items from Amazon, but I didn't go to their website. I didn't browse. I didn't pay. I didn't collect. So everything is reversed. So somebody came, somebody first they delivered the product, then they pay, then they asked me to choose, then they made me pay. So in this whole model, guys, if you think as the product management team in Amazon, I'm very sure the whole transaction happened without a customer coming to Amazon.com website or going to the paywall and all those things. So what will happen to the product management team here? What is the product in the near future? If everything goes in this direction, what product development will there be? Think about that question. So there's no product. I'm not going to go to, I'll go very less to Amazon.com. So what will happen to all these modules? What will happen to all these mobile application? So their whole business model is getting disrupted if they go in the regular, or if they still invest in putting a lot of stuff on the website. There will be some people, but the demand, the whole experience is getting reversed because of AI coming into picture, because of prediction happening more faster and easier and a scalable way, right? So at the end of the day, we as founders, for our companies also, the whole experience is changing. People will no more just come to our product, do our, again, this is generic example, you apply to all the pieces that you are doing in your own worlds. So if the whole thing reversed, then why would you charge for, if you're not maintaining the product, if you're not building the product, your cost of product will come down. Same thing with your competitor, your cost of your competitor's product also will come down. So then automatically he'll keep on jacking down the prices because he wants to pass on the value to the customer, right? So in that mode, it's very difficult for us to figure out how to price, how to create a business model out of. So I'll give you another example in another 10-15 minutes, but just digest this thing where the product is disappearing. The current flow of whatever we are thinking of as a product or as a journey is disappearing. So then what happens? Then how would you readjust your business model? So now, by the way, this is real because there's a patent that is being filed for this. Whatever I just said, there's a patent that is being filed. It's not like anything that is we've been working on it for a long time. Okay, so some practical tips. I wish somebody would have told me when I was starting my company. I'm just passing it on the information to you guys. There are four key things that are happening that you guys need to remember when you're doing your business model, when you're thinking of your strategies. One, so building has become cheaper, and distribution is the most expensive thing. I'll give it examples also. Product life cycles are shrinking. If you can build a feature in a day, so can your competitor. And AI is evolving too fast, so there's no modes. So I'll give you individual examples for each of these things. So now, until before the AI world, building was the costliest thing. We all were struggling to how do we build a scalable product, bigger product with now building is cheap or it's a zero cost thing. So everybody can build. Now the expensive thing in the journey is distribution. So whoever focuses on trying to understand how do you distribute, how can you, like if you take Calendly as an example, right? If you think, these are all self-serving models, Slack. So they're all self-serve product-led growth kind of a thing. So when you please think very carefully when you're pricing, when you're doing your business models, when you're thinking, keep at the end of the day, if you're reducing the overall cost of the thing and if you're reducing the experiences, don't build overcomplicated journeys or products. Build a very lightweight things and then let it evolve naturally. See, chat gpt, nobody we never called a call center of chat gpt to say, or we never called a salesperson of chat gpt. We're still using it. So it's a distribution that which will become your superpower in your business model than product building. It's no more about product building. Everybody can build, you can also build. But who has the upper hand on distribution wins the game. That's one of the key messages that I wanted to convey to you. Second thing, the product life cycles are shrinking. I'm sure you're observing. If not, you will observe. Why do you think OpenAI is able to produce so many releases? They're giving so many releases. They're announcing so many things. All the companies, because it's easy to build. Again, it comes back to the first point. So if it is easy to build, think that your competitor also it's very easy to build. And because if we are a startup, we have less resources, we have less money, we have less runway, we have less clarity. And if you're trying to compete with a mid-sized company or an enterprise who's also serving the customer, you have to be very agile. You have to be very tightly controlled, tightly coordinated, and on to the point. Value creation, because now you can do that. Now AI allows you to do that. It's important to keep that in mind. So product life cycles are coming down. So don't, if you are still taking a lot of time to build a product, that means you're unnecessarily affecting your cost, which has an impact on your business model one way or the other. So ensure that learn as much as possible about the technology, but you don't have to overbuild it. That's another key message. Third important part, as I said, right? If you can build it, they can also build it, and you have more competitors now. So if you put like a David and Goliath thing, until now the Goliath is our competitor and we are the Davids, we are the small people. Now there are too many small people that will come for the same customers. So it's not just you anymore. It's your friend also who's going to start a company. If there's another guy also can start the company. So it's going to become very dirty in the market because everybody will be competing for everybody's attention. So at this point, what matters is how clearly have you chosen a problem and how effectively are you focusing on solving the problem in a simpler way with very less cost, and how can you show the ROI, as I mentioned, which adds up to one way or the other to what you're going to charge and how much are you going to charge. And the last part, nothing is a moat anymore. Why is this important? Because today, whatever we build, tomorrow if GPT comes and releases as a feature, the whole product is gone. So you don't have any moat. And why is this important for you from a business model perspective is don't overspend without realizing where you're spending and seeing within the horizon, will that be disrupted or not. Like for example, I always say when I'm mentoring startups, don't focus on, so there's a supply side and the demand side in the market, right? Supply side is we are all suppliers of products to our customers. We supply, and our customers are the people who are consuming the product. So suppliers, consumers and suppliers. Always focus on going nearer to the consumer than the producer. Don't try to focus more on what you are giving. Focus more on what your customer wants. Be on the market, be on the customer side. The more you think from a customer's perspective, in his context, in his world, what is happening, you'll get more creative and innovative solutions for which you don't have to overspend on anything. So that in the Amazon example, now the whole flipped because now it's n is equal to 1 ho gaya na, everybody. Now I'm getting a box to my house with my own 15 things, out of which 18 I'm taking, 8 I'm taking. So that's a level of personalization, that's a level of attachment that you need to have to the user, not on your not on producing products or features. Okay, so that's one. Second thought experiment. This will make it more clearer for you about if at all if you haven't understood the first part of it. Same thing when you start looking at it. When you start looking at now, let's look at Book My Show or Make My Trip. Do you guys realize that now, whenever you're doing the next time when you're looking at Make My Trip and Book My Show experience, do you see that it is so complex? Just so in total, we have to make around 17 decisions before we making a payment, before we get a ticket. 17, 1 7. If you, I'm sure you all must know, right? First, you need to select the date, you need to select the time, you need to select the city, you need to do all this. Then you have to select who are you going with. Then so these are all decisions. No? At the end of the day, all these things are decisions. But still, and again, check in baggage and all these pieces. But still, we still try. There's no other option. We still go and go through this whole product experience, which is very bad. This is not a great experience, guys. If you're thinking from a product point of view, as a product managers, as builders, yeah, we never questioned that, but look at it as a product. So messy, so many choices, so many things. Why? Why? Because the positioning that this product, all these guys are doing is, hey, I'm doing the heavy lifting of collating all the information about airports and airlines in a single API and getting that to you. That is the heavy lifting that I'm doing. Rest of all the things they're throwing it to the customer. The complexity, they're throwing it to the customer, and still we are using it. Why? Because the pain of we going and standing in the airport in the queue and then booking is way higher than this experience. That's why we're tolerating this experience. So the product managers also made that decision where, hey, it's okay, they will do all those things provided we give real-time information with cheaper uh, with cheaper rates. But now from an AI point of, and their whole business model is what? So we are doing all the decisions, we are uploading all the stuff, and then we are paying, and then he's getting. At the end of this, are APIs that are working, right? If you think from a product point, but we are willingly accepting the complexity because they are doing the heavy lifting on one or two parts, and the business model is working for them. But now I'm very sure the model that they're thinking is like we all are seeing demos, right? Pretty in the near future, what's going to happen is we will take a bot, we will press the mic icon and we Make My Trip and say, hey, I want to go to Delhi from Hyderabad to Delhi on 22nd. I want an early flight. You'll talk all this. I want an early flight, and I need a return ticket on the same day. But my meetings are there till 8 o'clock. So give me any flight after 8. Zip, the loader loads. It understands everything and it gives you four or five options. You choose one and you paid. So this is believable. It is happening. We all can believe that. You can just talk to something and then it gives you the whole thing. Now, in this experience, once we get this kind of an experience, we will know we're going to this world. We'll stick to the chatbot route of talking to it. That is because much easier. Then what happens to all this product? If you think about, I got my ticket at the end of the day. It understood my conditions. Why? Because GenAI has done that. It can understand all the complex stuff and then making it easy for. So now the product managers there, their business models are getting disrupted. Until now, because They were charging that commission, they were charging that thing because they were producing, they have to manage this, they have to keep the servers up, and they're doing all this. Now, all this thing is vanished in this new experience. So what happens? So the whole business model, we don't know what the business model is, by the way, but it will completely re-evolve. So it may not see the taxes and surcharges, which is 2,500 out of 10,000, may become zero or may become very, 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 very less. So that's the margin. That's so this 2,500 out of 10,000 is the opportunity that AI has given Make My Trip to reduce or to give it back. So in all our products, if you guys are still thinking of building stuff this way in a structured way and all these things, your business model will break because you're building all these things. You have to charge the 2,500 rupees in your own metaphorical products. Then what happens when your competitor comes as uses AI and disrupts the whole business model, and he makes it instead of 2,500, he'll say 250 rupees. The whole business is gone. So that is the level of impact AI is gonna create, and opportunity also. It can create for all of us in whichever worlds that we are. Either you kill the 2,500 to 250 and then give it back to the customer, or your competitor will give. If you give it much faster, you have an early advantage. So your whole decision making about what to price, who to sell, how to distribute, have to be have to be relooked in the when the AI as a world is coming. In this whole thing, the biggest beneficiary is our customer, because for him now everything is coming much easier to him. We as producers, until now, we have to do the heavy lifting to get the value to the customer. Now the heavy lifting is become easier, and ChatGPT is coming from the other end to also take that thing off. So you have to be very, very focused on the problem and very, very niched about the problem. Be as closer as possible to the customer that you're serving, and then try to help. That's where GPT can't come there in your customer's context. GPT can give a general purpose solution, but the more you can focus on your customer, your customer's problem, your customer's context, things will fall in place much in a much better way. I hope I'm making sense. And Sanyam, are we
Yes, absolutely, sir. Yeah.
okay? So because there's so much of silence, I just want to ensure that we're aligned. Okay.
And
Okay. So now, so until now, what did I say? I told you that, hey, at the end of the day, product experiences have to be relooked, pricing has to be relooked, because ultimately a business model involves three or four pieces. Who are you serving? What are you serving? How are you reaching? And how much are you charging? And at the end of it, how much are you spending, right? So AI is touching everything. It's impacting what are you going to serve. It's impacting how are you going to serve. It is impacting how are you going to price. It's impacting how are you going to, what are you going to spend on to get that value. So it's a huge advantage for us guys. For startups, this is one of those best moments to experiment and to start, because I'll tell you the other side of the world. And I mean it because I do speak to a lot of senior folks in enterprises and big companies who are also trying to serve our customers, our customers, right? For them, change is very difficult, because for these people, imagine if they have to redo this whole thing into that one chatbot. What happens to this whole product? What happens to this whole experience? So it's not that easy for them to flip a button to change the whole experience. So they're very slow. Elephants, right? They're very slow to move. So they have to be very steady also. That is an advantage for us. When I said David and Goliath, that's what I meant, where we are the Davids and they are the Goliaths. So if we take care of the 2,500, the metaphorical 2,500, and get it to 250 as fast as possible, customers will run towards us. So here the speed is the name of the game. Understanding is the name of the game. Being extremely connected to the customer, not to the production, not to how can I produce, how pretty can I make the UI, how many modules can I put, is not the game that everybody is doing. Everybody will do. The real secret is what is that new insight, because you have this capability that AI can produce. What is that new angle or new approach or new experience that you can give to your end customer? Be loyal to the customer. be loyal to the solving the customer's problem, things will fall in place. See, in these two examples, if you think as a customer in an Amazon experience, somebody is coming to my doorstep. I didn't even book anything. I didn't even order anything. Things came to me. My only thing is I have to pick what I want and then leave it. When the world goes into that level of customer experience, as a customer, amazing. It's an amazing thing. But as a company owner who is serving that, it's a very nuanced innovation that needs to happen. So even in the Make My Trip model or Book My Show model in the future, with a voice where in a minute, if you can talk in your own local language, by the way, you can talk in Hindi, you can talk in Urdu, you can talk in Tamil, still it will understand and it will give you those 4 ticket options for the whole thing that you said, then the whole product is gone. So there is the innovation, guys. So there is the biggest advantage that we have is we are starting from zero. So you just have to be smart now. So not everybody has that ability to start from zero. No, Book My Show can't close everything and then start, right? Amazon can't close everything and start. They have to pivot. They have to readjust the experience. For us, we don't have that kind of a barriers. We can start with wherever we want. At the end of the day, as I said, customer focus. Okay, so that's that. And the last set of things that I wanted to go a little bit technical because this is important. I'm sure you may know now everybody's saying everything is agentic. I don't know how many people know what an agentic behavior or agents mean. I'm assuming that you don't know what agents are. If you know, it's fine. But I'll start from a basic. That's the next revolution and innovation that is happening in AI and Gen AI now. And we all as founders should understand what it is because that is the next game changer. It's not GPT. It's on top of it that's happening. So there's this new economy that is getting built. See, until now, if you, again, I'm talking as a software. If you take software, because most of the things that we do are software. Right? Until now, there was SaaS. So there's a global software and SaaS industry, and there's an IT industry. This is 2024, 2020, 2035. 1 trillion say 2.5 trillion, 1.5 trillion say 3 trillion. Is the before AI world. What was estimated? After the Gen AI world, there's this interesting the growth will be the same and more. An interesting new model is evolving in business called service as software. Until now, we had software as a service. That means you give a software and you charge per month. Now the whole model is shifting from software as a service to service as a software. What I mean by service as a software is, hey, let's say I'll talk from a marketing's perspective because I'm in the marketing. Right? There is a service where, hey, we will take care of all your ad publishing. So that's a service. But that service becomes a software, and that itself will start becoming a unique economy of its own. That's where the whole opportunity is. I'll give you some examples and I'll give you some models. This information, guys, is very how do I put this? So this is coming from the places where like Valley and all they're thinking in this direction. I'm just trying to ensure that I'm dumbing it down so that all of us also benefit from these frameworks. So one thing that is happening is there's another important slide, and this slide also is like one of those punchy slides where if there's a key takeaway, you can start from this. So until now, if you really look at how the pricing models and revenue models were affecting from business, it all started with ownership. Software. We used to own software, by the way. I don't know how many people know this. Before there was an on-prem hardware and support, perpetual. So MS Office, Windows was, we used to get Windows in a MS Office in a CD. We had to buy a CD and we had to install that CD. And that's how we used to buy software 15, 20 years back. Then came cloud, where and every time Windows 95 version 1 I have to buy. Again, 2 years after 2 years, we launches Windows XP. You have to buy another CD, and you have to install. Your antiviruses we used to get in a CD box. We used to install. That was the ownership model. So from ownership, once the cloud came into picture, it became a subscription model because I'm not everything is in the cloud. I'm just taking an API and I'm just using it as an API, right? So that's where there was a software as a service came into picture. But initially it was all like you need to take a 3-year contract, 5-year contract. Then as innovation happened, there was an annual SaaS. Now we are in the monthly SaaS. So everything that you're seeing now is a monthly SaaS if you think of from a SaaS perspective, right? In the new world, in the AI world, even this is getting disrupted. So that now this is the old business. The SaaS as a model, monthly as a model also will go. monthly licenses, monthly SaaS. Now it goes to actions. So pay per use, or pay per action, or pay per outcome. I'll explain all these things. Basically, what you need to understand is ownership say subscription, subscription say consumption. So I will only pay for what I consume. Here, even though I may have taken the license, I may not be using it 24/7, right? But still I'm paying there. So the whole game is shifting. That means your business models also have to shift to consumption-based pricing than license-based pricing or membership-based pricing. I'll explain what this pay-per-use, pay-per-action, pay-per-outcome is. I'll give you a framework also to understand this so that it becomes very easy for you. So as I said, agents are basically agents are the new apps. If you think there will be companies who will just be doing one service and make a software out of it. So in the current world, if you look at again, let's look at a broader macro. I'll show you some macro pictures and also some micro pictures. From macro pictures point of view, an organization is like this as of today. There's an executive leadership team, there's a senior management team, and there are individual departments and individual departments of people. But pretty soon, the world is going to become, hey, there's one leader at every level, and there's one agent. These are all agents. One agent orchestrating other agents. One agent orchestrating other agents in marketing, other agents in sales, other agents in finance, other agents in product. So the world is going to move in this direction where, I'm sure you must be hearing that pretty soon there will be a one person billionaire company, 1% unicorn, 3% unicorns. It's happening because of people going into the agentic route where everything is an agent. So I'll give you a very simple framework for you guys to understand. See, agent basically is like, if I have to put, okay, I'll show you an example. I think there's an example that will really make it. So there's a very simple 2x2, and by this is how we have to think. If you are into AI, if you're leveraging AI as a thing, if AI is a predominant thing for you. So there is a fixed and variable cost pricing. So it's activity based or outcome based. I'll explain what these of this is. So there's a FT replacement. There's an example for each of this thing. I have an example which will give you a very good picture, but just follow through me. So there's a fixed monthly fee. I will pay based on what I'm using. Okay, I'll pay based on the workflow outcome, and I'll pay based on the objective as a result. So if you don't know these products, don't worry. In the next slides, we'll explain individual pieces. So first is pay per agent, like FTE replacement model. So in the near future, so this is what example I was talking, right? There will be an agent. So junior employee, if you're paying $60,000 per year, now there will be an agent that does the same thing. Let's say this guy is a software developer. Now there's a software developer agent, or a front-end agent, or a design agent, or a whichever you put, quality assurance agent. The quality agent person's thing is going to happen. Now we're going to charge, let's say, $2,000 per month. So that's 24K versus 60K. So pretty soon the bodies, your tasks will be divided, and each task will have one agent, and we sell that agent. So in your own thing, so for makemytrip.com, the agent there is ticket booking agent. At the end of the day, the guy is booking a ticket for you and he's taking it. That's one agent. So your cost is significantly coming down when you're trying to go in this model, but still, I still don't know whether I'm using everything for that I'm paying for the $2,000, but still this is one model. Second model, this is the model that everybody is doing, by the way. This is like a call. This is an example of a call center. Price for agent action. Basically, there's a call center which sends emails, which takes calls, which answers tickets. So let's say there's an agent that does 150 emails, 1400 calls, 1400 minutes of calls, and 50 tickets. If a physical human person is doing it, so then emails, 150 emails, the rate card is this, you have to pay this much. Calls this one. So total, you pay $447 to me. I will do 150 emails. My agent will do 150 emails. It will take 1400 minutes of calls. It will handle 50 tickets. So if you compare, BPO costs $900 per employee versus $452. So do you see how so again, all this in my Make My Trip, the 2,500 rupees is going to 2,250 rupees. These are those things, guys. So you guys have to go into that level of, hey, I'm not selling you call center software. Now I'm selling you actions. Now I'm selling you these many number of calls, these many number of use cases. So you need to get to your end users that means of unit consumption. That's what the whole game is, right? I will only pay for how much I'm consuming. So this is another model. And the third model is, hey, an agent has to, let's say this guy is writing a kick-ass blog post or a very good research paper. Research paper, like basically it's like per agent workflow. Workflow is a combination of actions. If I'm asking somebody to write a very good research paper, they have to research, they have to gather information, they have to review, they have to outline, they have to draft, they have to refine, and they have to send. Now an agent, there's a research agent, there's a gather agent, there's a review agent, outline agent. So, and there's a cost for each agent. In total, $34. I'll get you the whole workflow done. So there's a new, this entirely new way of looking at the whole world in business. Now it's coming to the exact customer is going to pay exactly for what he is getting or what he's consuming. So these are business examples. If you're in the B2C product, you also think in the same way. At the end of the day, the ticket, if I talk about irctc.com and all, they're charging only for the service that that it took for them to get that API run. So in all of your things, your product management team, your product team has to rethink about the whole journey and see what are you giving to the customer, how much does it cost, and how much are you charging the customer. And it has to be visible to the customer. And the last piece, outcome. So here, same call center example, I will take for $4 per ticket resolved. If I resolve only, that means a ticket came to me, I didn't escalate to a call came to me, I didn't escalate to a human, but as an agent, I did that call and the customer was happy. So that's $4 for me. Customer satisfaction is this much, saved is this much. So the whole paradigm is changing, right? If you're selling something to a BPO guy, you're basically selling customer satisfaction. You're saying that $4 instead of $15 or $20. So we have to repackage the whole thing to convey it in a structured way, to basically say you will get what you consume, you will get what you see value in, versus for the whole perennial licensing or per agent licensing. So again, let's come back to this thing. So there's a fixed activity based, that's agents. There are actions done by an agent. There's a multiple actions done by an agent, which is a workflow, and there's a pure outcome. So everybody wants this, but we can't. So you, in your own world, whatever you're trying to offer your customers, also start think from this angle. If you're applying AI, I'm very sure one way or other you have to apply AI. If you're applying, how do you do these parts? And it may, again, these are a framework. You can reuse it in your own language, in your own variables, but you have to think in that way. At the end of the day, people would love to pay for an outcome. If they can't get an outcome, at least try to go into dividing it into a number of steps and charging by the steps. Or if you can't do it, at least charge for one step, or sell it as a one person, whatever, equal it to an individual person and then do it. So net to net, the point that I'm trying to make, again, I'm going to repeat the same thing because it's important. Focus on the customer, not on the production, not on the product building, not on what you are giving. It's like, what does your customer want? Your customer wants customer satisfaction. Your customer wants an end report. Your customer wants these many 150 emails to be answered, 140 calls to be made, 50 tickets to be resolved. So when you start thinking from that angle, your business models will become extremely easy, because the guy who is paying will decide how you have to run your whole company. So I'll stop here. I don't know how much. Okay, at least I think we're on time, right?
Yeah, we are on time and we can take up Q&As also. So there are certain questions out here. So first of all, thank you, sir. This was a very huge topic, very brief in 1 hour. This would take a lot of time in general. If you take, we can take it up in a good session in our university also later on. So we have few questions. Let me read it out for you. Okay, so one question is, where does Gen AI will be after 5 years, as most of the companies are building their own AI version, or maybe Chat GPTs. What do you see, sir, where we are going towards 5 years ahead from now, as you being a software company also, so you do understand these dynamics which are changing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's put it in a framework again. See,
Yeah.
because my job is to give you guys good frameworks and lenses, so that when you guys take it back, you can apply it to multiple structures. It's not just, I'm not just going to answer your actual thing. I'm going to give a framework and then answer.
Yeah, yeah.
So it becomes easy. See, at the end of the day, the way I look at this whole thing is our world economy is $100 trillion. World economy. There are 8 billion people per year, $100 trillion of economy. What does that mean? That means $100 trillion worth of producers produced $100 billion worth of things, and consumers bought and paid $100 trillion. If you think that's the market, right? There's a market, $100 trillion worth of market has happened. Pretty soon, the market will so the market will become $100 trillion. Say it comes to $200 trillion because of AI, because a lot of things, productivity, right? People love to have more productivity. There will be a huge disruption in the production side. So the people who are producing that $100 trillion, there will be a major disruption. What I mean by that is, we may in all these examples, the one common theme there is, I don't need to build this much. I don't need to maintain this much. I don't need to everything. If AI is doing the heavy lifting, I don't need to charge that much. So there's a huge margin games that will happen. But predominantly, right now, if you again think about it, it's the big players who are playing the game. There are this Facebook's, all the foundation models are all done by big players. If you observe, every big guy is doing that part, right? So there will be a huge economical shift that will happen where things will move there. But niches and there will be that mid-level and a niche level stuff will still come to us, because the big guys can't go direct. So I'll tell you from an example. I'm building a marketing copilot using AI, right? So GenAI GPT can also do that. But in Hyderabad, to a book guy, the guy who's selling books on the market, he has a shop. He also wants to be online. Now ChatGPT can't go to that level and then give a solution to it. So that now there are so many bookstore owners that need a solution. That's the niche. The people who are into in education, there's so many schools. Everybody is doing digital marketing. Now ChatGPT will not give a school solution, right? So there are these niches. You guys have to focus on the niche and then go so deep in that particular world that you have your own game to play. Is the whole structure. So put it in a different way. The If world economy is $100 trillion, it's like think of it as like a pie chart. The pie will expand. That means the market will expand, and the contribution will shift. The big guys will take most of the stuff. We will. The startups will rely on the niches, and that niches will become like a 30% market.
Okay, great. So thank you for saying, sir. Over to the next questions. I think this questions talk about AI in education sector. The question is how we are using AI in education sector in developed economy, special higher education for students, and grievance. I think this is very pertinent question because I could see that even the West is also shifting their methodology, how they teach in their classes, courses, and every entire education sector is trying to rebuild their foundational. So if you can also share some insights about that. And I would also like to add my question into this because this is directly related. That what do you suggest to the upcoming generation, especially students who should be focusing, what kind of skills they should be focusing on in coming time so that they should stay relevant in the job market? Yeah,
Got it. So the two questions there, right?
yeah,
See, I was an edtech entrepreneur before. I ran
yeah.
edtech for like 8 years, so I've been keeping close. See, edtech education technology ka the biggest proposition when we were going and pitching right before Gen AI is like, hey, the one size fits all doesn't work out anymore. One person sitting on the stage and teaching to everybody model doesn't work. That's where technology is coming into picture. So that's why we used to sell technology for that. Give it, you have personalized thing in your own phone, in your own app, you can do all this. That was pre. Gen AI आने के बाद it's no more personalization, it's hyper personalization. So n is equal to 1. I'll give you an example on theoretically what will happen. So see now LLMs know everything. Our syllabus, CBSE is the very small syllabus, is the smallest thing. LLM knows that much big. No, it knows everything. It knows all the questions. It can answer all the things. So pretty soon, what's going to happen? I think when Sam Altman and all, they're releasing a new hardware device. Or they're going to go into education side. No? The device has, you have a device. You just have to say, I'm a sixth class student. And then it starts asking you 4 or 5 questions. Based on those 4 or 5 questions, like a GMAT test, it like realigns everything, increase the complexity, decrease the complexity, and then it makes a profile out of you. And then it starts nudging you in a personalized way. So you have your teacher, you have your mentor, who realizes what your weaknesses, strengths are. The biggest thing that the teacher has to do is that only. The personalization is, hey, Kiran, your problem is in arithmetic. Sanjay, your problem is in geometry. In geometry, every time you're making this mistake, that is why you're not getting a problem. We want that level of attention. Humans are not able to give that. Now AI is gonna change the game. Ulta. It will be ulta. It will be on top of you. Hey, there is this map, you haven't yet cracked this, you haven't yet cracked this. So that is an amazing disruption, an amazing world to be in from an education point of view. That's on the, so any solution that goes in that direction of personalizing, that's one. But I'm sure your question was somewhere from a startup founder who's doing a tech, right? Maybe.
Maybe yes, it was kind of not a ad tech, but on education side of it.
Okay, on
Let's
the
say,
education side.
yeah. So how education sector you should think, the methodology of teaching should be, coming here forward. And plus, what are the skills you think, you can suggest to
Okay.
the
Now
audience
on the
out there?
job side of things, see,
Yeah.
the way you should understand the metaphor here is, let's take the body example. We
Mhm.
have a brain, we have physical strength, and we have brain, and we have spiritual there's an emotion, there is intellectual, and there's physical labor. uh, what AI is, until now, machines, when industrial revolution came, what did it do? It eliminated our physical labor, it automated the physical labor.
Mhm.
All the whole automations are all physical labor automations. So the whole innovation that we have seen so far is physically we became lazy because everything is automated. Right?
Mhm.
Gen AI world, man, it started with the mind. It started with intellect. It's automating your intellectual work. That's why the programmers are the first people to get affected. The creative
Mhm.
people are the first people affected because it's happening on this side. So it is a disruption. It will be disrupted. There's no doubts about it. We have to be ready for it. But where is an opportunity? What are the skills that 2 3 places? Physical, anyways, once the AI is taken over the intellectual work, then it automatically goes to robotics. When it goes to robotics, then your physical labor also gets automated more.
Mhm.
That's how it logic applies. So your
Yeah.
physical is over, your intellectual is over. Now 2 places where a lot of skills are needed is one, empathy and emotion. So now philosophy, psychology, arts will become very powerful. So how do you teach an AI to have emotion? Because ultimately, when I put a robot in front of my baby, I want it to be empathizing. It's not possible. It's possible. We don't know. But the soft skills will become very much needed. The PhDs in psychology is very much needed because how will you understand the human nature and then trying to convey the point? So, so your emotional and your how to the therapy parts. Now the humans, now you have, how do you connect to another person? How can you teach an AI to connect to another person? So there's lots of fields. Now political science gets opened up because now it's all about power and all, right? How do you teach all these things? So I think coding, computer science will still be there, but the hotcakes will be how can you teach, how can you prompt an LLM to make it more
Yeah.
empathetic?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's I've been saying to a lot of students, whenever I meet, and a lot of founders also, and you're right on that thing is because it's not important to give the answer. Asking the right question is important in agentic world, because answers would be there, because a lot of LLMs would be much more intelligent than collective knowledge of the entire globe, I would say, but asking the right question will make a difference. So that's I
In
I
fact,
I think about agentic AIs.
absolutely. In fact, I'll give you a thought
Yeah,
experiment.
yeah.
See, you get 2 people, and you give the
Mhm,
same goal to 2 people that hey, you have to produce an essay on something.
mhm,
They both have computers which are same laptops, same new laptops, same chat GPT, same free chat GPT. Do you think that they both will give the same answer? They get to the same essay, they get a same structure? No,
No.
but they both are starting at the same level. Everybody has the same power. The
Yeah.
Bill Gates has the same power, and you have the same power when you start. So now it's all garbage in, garbage out. It's the better prompter who asks a better question gets a better answer.
Yeah.
The answer is there. Both have the same answer. The
Yeah.
capability is there to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yes, yes. So I think that we have a limited time. I'll take up a last question. There are certain more questions. One question that by Dr. Garima. I think this is widely asked question also. What is the potential existential risk associated with AI? Because a lot of people do talk about goods of AIs also, but they're on the flip side of it. We also need to understand, how badly it can also affect as a human race. So that's my last question.
Yeah, you should listen to all things that Yuval Noah Harari. Any
Yeah.
talk nowadays is only going in that part because
Yes.
he's the guy who introduced sapiens to us. Now he's the guy who's
Yeah.
taking the extreme route. See, existential, yes, absolutely, no doubts about it. Honestly, we don't know. Nobody, I'm sure. The AGI, everybody's talking about AGI, but nobody's talking about post AGI. What happens? Post
Yeah.
AGI, where do
Absolutely.
you control? What will you control? And one thing that is lacking, see, technology is the only place, if you observe, government follows. Until now, all the rules and the regulations were done, and then it gave. In the technology world, government follows after a long time. So you should read, you should follow Economist. Any article, just go to Economist and type AI. Most of the stuff comes in this. But one common theme that I can see is, if you I don't know if you Sam Altman, when he has given the Congress called him 2 year 1 year back,
Mm.
they called, and last time also they called. You should watch the first time. This time he was very prepared. He was very politically correct. But you should watch the last year's congressional hearing, where he literally was saying, "Hey, I also don't know what I'm creating. What is coming?
Mm.
I have no idea. Okay, and I'm so you better control me." Basically, he was trying to tell the government, "Hey, put some guardrails."
What guide? Yes, put some policy framework.
Some
Yes.
policy where we don't know what's happening, we don't know
Yeah.
what's coming, right?
Mm.
So what will happen is the uh, the CEO, the Sam Altmans, and the politicians combinedly together, they have to create a new set of constitution, new set of rules.
Mm.
Same like in nuclear reactors, right? Nuclear
Yeah.
reactors are like so you have to self-contain. But science fiction ka jo bhi ho raha hai, I don't think it will go that far, because it will still be
Yeah.
contained. It will still be contained because the kill switch will always be there.
Yeah.
They will slowly deploy into the real world. But still, no, we are all speculating here. We don't know the answer.
Yeah.
See, that is where my first answer, my previous question can answer. How would you train it to be empathetical if it takes control?
Absolutely. Okay, sir. I think we should wrap up, and let me summarize what you have said in a nutshell also. And uh, you emphasize on building, whatever necessary, and while building a product, what is necessary, only build. Don't overbuild for your audience. You also talk about ROI to the customer and to identify what unique values you can offer beyond ChatGPT. You also try to cover, building a product, and how the product building would be cheaper in the coming days, and the main focus should be on the distribution, because that is something that can create a moat for any company going forward. And then lastly, share a new model shift of the pricing, where you talk about action-based pricing models over the current subscription model. So you pay only for certain actions. That was a really good
Consumption,
thing, that
consumption based
consumption
pricing.
actions, or that is how we are going, and that is where agentic AI would be also going towards. So thank you, sir, for your amazing inputs. And I think 1 hour was not enough time to talk about this, because this is such a huge discussion. We may take up, one-to-one, or maybe at the university level. So thank you for your time today, and you spent 1 hour with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
No
joining us
problems.
today.
Happy to help. Best of luck.
Thank,
Okay,
thank you, audience, for your 1 hour and being patient. Thank you for the questions also. Thank you, team MET and MET University.
bye.
Glad. Thank you.
So please end the session.